But how does one contend with an unfair world? And I use the word unfair as well because, we've got investigative researchers here who looked through everything relating to that particular deal. And then we also looked at what's written on the internet. And there's this great disparity between what actually happened and what people say happened.
Yeah.
And I think there's a documentary out there which goes into it in great detail, which Andrew Schultz was talking about on a podcast, which I saw. So I looked at that documentary as well.
I mean, look, I'm grateful for a couple of things. One, my kids were really young when it happened, so they didn't feel it as much.
Yeah.
It was very hard at the time. It was hard on the marriage. It was hard on our family.
You were getting death threats.
Yeah, but I also don't know what was being said on the other side, because I never got to have the conversation. So I think when people aren't communicating and refusing to communicate, a lot of things can get misconstrued. And I don't want to hold any hatred or everyone moves on, So yes, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate actually doing the research. But for me, I choose to see it as a gift. I choose to see it as being able to have a perspective that very few people in the world have, of knowing what that's like, of feeling that on a global level.
Pain.
Yeah. And also just...
What does that mean in reality?
It just felt unfair. It felt like... But of course it happened to me, right? Of course, because here I was thinking my value was from all this praise, and everything was me making sure that I was living up to it. And then this happens and it's unfair and I can't control it. And of course the universe was like screaming at me, like God's screaming at me like, hey, wake up. You're not in control. You can't navigate all of this. You don't get to decide what your legacy is. And you just get to decide who you are on a daily basis and who you choose to see in yourself and how you treat the people that love you and the people you can actually interact with.
Surrender.
But surrender and participate. That's the big thing for me. It's more than just surrender. It's surrender and participate and just enjoy the ride. That's why I got the tattoo. It was... I can't worry about everyone's niece being mad at me. It's what I got to do is show up for my niece, and I got to show up for my friends and my family. And I wish everyone involved across the board, whether I know them or not, nothing but good wishes.
When I say specifically that pain, people don't think about how many people on earth have experienced such a thing.